Welcome to another episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my true partner, Anthony. This is a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. So, Anthony, how you doing? It's nice gi you're wearing today.
Yeah, I was going to wear a rash guard, but I forgot to bring it today.
Oh, you're being all sexy, showing it off today. It's summertime. Why not?
Well, that too is also kind of hot. But I just forgot. I've been doing so much laundry from coming to the dojo so often that I just lost track of when I'm packing or when I'm unpacking and stuff. So now I'm getting to that age where I'm like starting to pack and unpack stuff the day before now instead of just doing it like in 30 minutes and you're like rushing to pack everything before you leave for the dojo. So yeah,
I don't do that. I was waking up before class like, all right, this gi today, that rash guard today.
I've been washing the loaner gis at the dojo, so I've been washing, drying them, and loading up the night before because I realized I finished work and I'm like, oh, I got loads of gis, gotta do this, gotta open up the dojo. So it's like much more relaxing to do everything beforehand. But I didn't do that last night because you guys were over to watch UFC, which we'll talk about. So I just passed out after I cleaned up and I forgot to pack my judo bag with the rash guard and everything.
It's okay. We're doing very traditional. It's okay. It's like you tell someone to put a rash guard on because they're too sweaty or nothing.
I might edit that out because people won't understand what you're saying.
A little inside joke. So let's talk about a little about some judo news. So as Anthony was saying, we did watch UFC last night. It was UFC 316. It was headlined by Merab versus O'Malley, and then Kayla versus, what's her last name? Penne.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a good night for judo, all right? So the two-time Olympian gold medalist in judo, the two-time PFL champion, is the new UFC 135 women's champion, Kayla.
Yep.
All right? So that's great for judo. She went in there. She dominated. She got, Soto got in the girl, Ochi got in the girl, and then got her a beautiful kimura, like putting her wrist so far back, she was touching her own head almost. It was crazy.
I was surprised there was no permanent damage, but even the commentators were like, oh, I hope there's no permanent damage in that arm.
Hey, you can tap anytime you want to, all right?
Yeah, she tapped kind of late.
That's her choice, all right?
But with adrenaline running and everything, like we don't know,
So it was a really good fight. I enjoyed it and stuff. It looked really good for judo. She looked great out there. At the end of the fight, they also brought Amanda Nunes inside the ring because it used to be...
well, she called her out.
She called her out. Like, she was there. What else are you going to do, okay?
Yeah.
They did have the little funny thing where the security guards at the front were just like, no, you can't come in. And Joe had to be like, no, bring her in. Which is funny to me, something that happens. But they used to be teammates at American Top Team. Nunes now has her own gym. Kayla still trains at American Top Team. So it's going to be a good fight. And
it's the American Top Team in Florida, right?
Yeah. So it should be a good fight and stuff, but congratulations to her. Congratulations to judo right there.
So this is what I was trying to look up while you were saying, because I want to talk about the weight cut. Again, during the weigh-in, she looked ghastly, just like the first time. But the first time, was she fighting 145 or 135?
In the UFC, she's only fought 135.
Okay, I thought last time she was cutting down to 145 last time.
No, we had this talk every time she fights.
Okay, it was 135.
When she was in PFL, she fought at 155.
Okay.
She had her one fight in Invicta, which is at 145.
She fought in Invicta?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a tune-up fight or something. She had a fight in Invicta.
Yeah.
At 145, and everyone was like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But then she in the UFC, everyone was like, well, are they going to, UFC is going to bring back the 145 division? She's like, no, she's fighting 135. And this is her first time making 135 exactly, because her first two fights, you get the 1 pound allowance. So she made a 136 those first two fights in UFC.
Okay. So, yeah, because I was going to say, this time the weigh-in looked the same, but she rehydrated like much better. She looked much better coming into the ring compared to last time. And I mean, my wife was texting me saying, I saw the ending, like, Kayla looks jacked. I was like, yeah.
She is jacked.
I think maybe, like, compared to last time, she looks more ripped and cut, but I think there's less muscle mass.
Yeah.
So maybe prepping for this time, she lost some muscle mass to...
You have to.
Yeah.
She's had to lose a lot of muscle mass going, like I said, from PFL 155 to now 135.
Yeah.
People, like you always say, like, how's she going to make that weight? Was she going to cut off a leg or something?
Yeah. But, no, she rehydrated much better this time. I mean, the weigh-in still looked brutal, but I think the rehydration was much better. Because last time when she walked into the ring, I'm like, is she going to die? Like,
well, there was a thing, and I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but there was where she got a little bit sick afterwards.
Yeah.
And there's something
called like a cutting flu or something like that, right?
Yeah, kind of. So, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Judo prevailed in the end. All right, this is our second judo champion at 135 in UFC. The second Olympian, the first gold medalist, two-time gold medalist. All right, screw that Henry Cejudo, one-time gold medalist, two-time gold medalist. All right. Oh, and you read this is
Oh
my
my
little
gosh.
side thing. Joe Rogan, when he was like doing it, like talking about this stuff, the two-time wrestling champion, like wrestling.
That's not the first time they did that, right?
Yeah.
They did that last time too, but
He
it
called
wasn't
her a
Joe.
wrestling or Olympic wrestling champion. Like, no, it's judo. It's not wrestling, but it is what it
I
is.
think last time it wasn't. They didn't call it that. It was in the subtitles, like this talking about like what kind of accolades they have. Like in the subtitles, called her a wrestling medalist.
Yeah.
So
Stupid. But okay, so like I said, it was good for judo because also Marab beat O'Malley. Marab got a great north-south choke on the guy in was it round 2? Was it or round 3? It was round 3.
it was round 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in round 3, which I'm going to claim also Marab because he's a sambo judo wrestling guy. All those guys in that part of the country, that part of the world, all do that, all grappling. He is a black belt in judo and stuff, so I'm going to take that one too. So say that judo got 2 belts last night, or retained 1 belt and got another belt.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of what do you call it? Like big throws.
Yeah.
So
Morotogari. I'm calling them all Morotogari, all right? I don't care what anybody says.
well, yeah, we saw those big lift ups, and we saw specifically the leg trips. And I guess this might. I don't train wrestling, and I train jujitsu on the side. And Muay Thai. That's about it. But the leg sweeps were so. To me, it was uniquely judo. You can tell it was like perfect timing.
Yeah.
Like a sweep. It wasn't like a forced trap it and then like dump.
Oh yeah. The sweep that she got, well, back to
Kochigari,
Kayla.
Kosotogari.
Yeah,
all
that sweep that she got, Penne, the one that got her down to the ground to do the sequence when she finally won the fight. It was a beautiful foot sweep. You're like, what happened? I was like, it was Kochigari.
It was so fast because of the timing.
At first I thought it was Kochimakomi, but it was so sweet. Like it was just plain Kochigari.
Yeah, so that was fun to watch. But overall, right before we were setting up, one of our students was just like, weren't you guys shitting on the UFC? I was like, no, I was shitting on you were like, no, I was shitting on the UFC. And I was like, I only hosted. I didn't really care. I wouldn't have watched it if you guys didn't come over, honestly.
Yeah, I would have watched it no matter what.
But even the main event, like you were talking about, the Georgian guy in Rob, I didn't enjoy that fight because it was such a mismatch.
Yeah. It was like, what did Sean O'Malley do in a year to get this rematch?
Kayla,
it's like, really?
I didn't even know that was. I was like, why is this guy getting a rematch? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But,
I think a lot of people, in reality, are like, okay, he's internet famous, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like what has he done this past year to get a rematch? But whatever. UFC wanted to put some money on him. Like they think he's a bankable star. He got tapped down in the 3rd round. All right.
Yeah, the Kayla fight was definitely. I thought it was entertaining, but would I have paid money to watch it? Like $60 just to watch that one fight?
Yeah.
Probably not, because there wasn't enough grappling. I didn't think there was enough grappling.
It was all grappling.
Yeah, but it was only 2 rounds. I wanted to see more groundwork and actual grappling, not pushing up against the cage kind of thing, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah, like it was fun to watch the leg trips and everything, and then the finish. But I wanted to see more grappling occur. But and then the striking was okay, like subpar. Let's just call it that, right? So
I know what you're talking about. It was great striking. I think she could fight Mayweather next. All right.
Is that what she said?
No,
she said something like that, right?
No, Rhonda said something like
Rhonda
that.
said something like
Rhonda
that.
said she could outbox Mayweather back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I thought. Overall, it was fun to have you guys over to watch it. But congrats to Kayla, and I definitely agree with what you said. Now, greatest combat athlete
Of all time.
of all time.
Yeah. Who can say this? 2 different MMA championship belts, 2-time Olympian gold medalist, world champion in judo. Like no one can get next to her. Okay, no one can. Yeah. Screw these swimmers and these runners that are like 11-time gold medalists. Yeah, and
all these events. And
they have all these team events and stuff. Yeah, judo, wrestling, taekwondo, all that. We got 1 event, 1 Olympics each year. Or not,
well, we also I don't know if we talked about it in a previous episode, but some of these events, it's like. You go to the Olympics and you already know you're winning, whether you have a chance of winning or not.
Yeah.
So, versus judo, it's like anything can happen. So people aren't going to show up and just party and everything.
One bad move, you lose.
Yeah. Anything can happen. But swimming, it's like, it's those 5 guys over there are going to be 3 out of those 5 guys are going to get the bronze medal, gold.
Yeah.
Right? Bronze, silver, gold. So But judo, it's kind of like, yeah, you have Utabe, but Utabe got knocked out the first round. So,
Crazy.
yeah.
All right, so that was our thoughts on the last UFC event. Congratulations, judo. Like I said, one new champion and one retaining his belt. Hopefully, this is one thing that I kind of bring this up again, or kind of talk about this, is that this is one thing I used to see when Ronda would fight. Whenever Ronda would fight, we would always get a few young ladies and some few women get interested in judo again and stuff. They would come to see a class. So let's
I
see
haven't
that.
seen that, but
I'll say now, but
Yeah.
back when Ronda was fighting her heyday and stuff,
Yeah.
we would always get like one or two women after each time she would fight, every time she would win, we would get some ladies come in. So let's see, maybe this time with
I
Kayla
don't
doing
think
so well,
I don't think so because they didn't really push the judo.
push to judo, you think?
I don't think they like. Kayla had those things about, oh, judo saved my life. That was my first love, all that thing. But did they play that last night? I don't think they did.
They did in the opening, didn't they? And then she talked about judo when she got her.
And well, when we watched the introductions going into the two main co-mains, and I did not see. I don't recall seeing any of that stuff.
I could have swore I did, but maybe it didn't. I don't know.
I don't think it happened. But
Well, we'll see.
and then the post-fight interview, they didn't say anything, ask anything about judo. So, not that she.
I mean, that's
has
why
to-
Joe said it was wrestling, because they want her to do wrestling instead of judo.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I don't think they pushed judo enough, and nor does Kayla have to or should, based off of how they treated her. But
That's a story for another day.
yeah, but yeah, they definitely didn't mention the judo enough for people to be like, I'm going to go train judo. I don't think that happened. And also what we said, I don't think what she demonstrated would seem like judo to the uneducated public. They'll just see it as wrestling.
Yeah.
So
They don't see those big judo throws, you know?
yeah, but yeah, maybe I'll cut this next part out. But remember, like some of the prelim fights were just like watching these jiu-jitsu guys just grab the leg and
Yeah.
punch.
Oh
in
man,
the
that one guy that
face.
just like grabbed, he just dived in like, a leg just came fucking elbowed and hit in the head.
It's like, and Matt was like, "What are you doing? Just let go." He's like holding on to it and eating the punches. I'm like,
Yeah. All right. So yeah, those
Yeah.
are our thoughts about the UFC event. So, Anthony, so a few episodes ago, we had a viewer send us some questions, and I've been waiting to get to this because we've been a little busy and stuff. We do answer viewer questions. So,
yeah.
what did the viewer ask us?
So I did respond on YouTube, but based off of how the YouTube algorithm works, sometimes I don't get notifications when people respond to my comments. So I just wanted to make sure they hear it, so we'll talk about it too. Because I actually got someone else asking me about this in private, so I thought I would just make it public. So okay, this is from 3 weeks ago. That was around when I was traveling. That's why it took me so long to respond. So love the podcast, guys. I recently caught up on the backlog all the way back to 2021. Love the insight about Newaza and the fact that learning how to pin and learning how to escape go hand in hand. Yeah, I have a few random questions. How big does the strength disparity need to be before a less skilled grappler can beat an elite grappler? For example, putting your egos aside, do you think Anthony or Juan could beat Hifumi Abe or Maruyama more than 5 out of 10 times in a competition match? Or is the skill difference just too great? How about Beatriz Souza? So for those who don't know, Beatriz Souza is a heavyweight Cuban or Brazilian.
Oh God, what country?
I think it's Brazilian, but female judoka. So that's part one of the question. So do you want to answer first?
Let's answer that one first, okay?
Yeah, let's hear
So
answer.
all day, every day, I grab my toss them. No, I'm not. Like I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like they have such high skill level, and I fight little guys sometimes, like some littler guys. And we actually have a member here that used to be like a lighter player that gained weight because gained some muscle and stuff. And it's just he has that speed and technique from his lightweight days, but he has the strength from his more heavyweight days. So to me, I ain't gonna lie, they'll probably beat me 9 out of 10. Like not even more 9 out of 10 times.
I think
Like,
it's 10 out of 10 times.
yeah. The only way I could get them is if somehow I get them in Newaza, maybe. That's the only way I think.
Let's not even talk about like the skill aspect.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just talk about the strength aspect of an elite Olympic judoka who trains full time compared to
us that do casually.
Casually
judo.
past their prime, didn't start since we were 5, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10 out of 10 times. It's kind of like saying, if I were to fight a 5-year-old how many times could the 5-year-old beat me 5 out of 10 times? Like,
Yeah.
no. Like, so I don't think I'll get even a single throw off of Hifumi or Maruyama
Yeah.
at their current, maybe like 50 years from now,
Yeah.
or something. But
I would have to add so many caveats, so many
Yeah.
cheating ways. I'll be like,
it's
well,
no longer the same question anymore.
yeah,
at
it's
that
not even saying.
point.
I'll be like, well, are we adding leg grabs? Maybe I can leg grab him or something, or maybe I can catch with Uranage maybe. But no, reality, no.
No.
Like they'll beat me. I ain't gonna lie about it. Yeah, they're gonna beat me every
That's
time.
how big of a skill gap it is.
Yeah.
Which is something that jiu-jitsu people don't understand about judo is how high the ceiling
There's
is.
a gap, you know.
Yeah,
There's
it's-
that thing that people say like, well, he's a black belt, and then there's black belts and there's black belts.
I know Roddy Ferguson said it, but we technically said it first. But the fact that you can start BJJ in your like 30s and become like a world champion within let's just say conservative within 10 years, it just goes to show how low the skill ceiling is. That's just a fact.
He said it.
I said it. Yeah,
He said it.
It's
Hollywood
not.
Judo Dojo, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
It's not a diss. It's a newer sport,
Yes.
right? So the skill ceiling is lower, but people are like, I see this on Reddit sometimes. People are saying like, oh, so and so from BJJ, like, let's just say Gordon Ryan. And that's not what they said, but they're saying so and so because I don't know the names. So and so can go into judo and probably beat most of the Olympians or national team members. I'm just like, no.
Probably not.
I'm not even talking about Hifumi Abe. I'm not talking about like Japanese and the French. I'm talking about American national team members competing in the circuit.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, it's one of those things where
Yeah.
people don't get this, and I say it in my class a lot. Like, it's different move sets for different styles. It's different rules.
Yeah.
So there's things that I can do in judo that I know I can get away with to beat people that I can't do when I go to a BJJ class. Or the BJJ people can like, oh, I do this all the time. Come to judo and they end up getting hurt or end up like losing and stuff, and they get frustrated. And we always get that. Well, if this is BJJ, I would beat you. Well, if this was a gunfight, I would have shot you. Okay.
I think other than that, the strength and conditioning is also just fundamentally different.
Yeah.
I don't think it carries over much because we've had like people from some of the, let's just say, elite academies in the area come visit, and they're freaking dying.
Yeah.
It's not that they're out of shape. It's just that if you listen to the Swiss fighting interview we did, it's just like taking an elite runner and putting them in like sprinting, like long distance runner towards a sprinter. Like the skill just doesn't carry over as much.
Yeah.
So I think they'll adapt faster, but I also don't think they can just like decide to randomly put on a gi and go wreck shop. I don't think that's going to happen. We actually did get someone that came that was saying like they watched the Paris Olympics and thought I could do this, and thought they could do this, but they couldn't.
Yeah.
So it happens, but I'm not saying majority of people are like that, but there are people who are a little bit delusional in that in that aspect. But
All right. So what's the next question?
yeah. So how big does the strength? Yeah. So let's finish wrapping it up.
Okay.
How big does the strength disparity need to be less? But this is why I said it will be a different question, because if I was as strong as a silverback gorilla, or maybe I'm like super roided up, because lately someone uploaded a clip of that powerlifter that trains jiu-jitsu went to Japan to train as Keiji Suzuki, and they had like 2 people attack him at once. They couldn't throw him. To put some context into it, I'm 99% sure the Japanese were being nice
to him.
They didn't want to hurt him on camera, especially. I think, I don't know about one-on-one, but 2-on-1, they definitely would have thrown him if they wanted to. That's one. So, but it still holds true. It goes to show size and strength matters to a certain degree. So if I was as strong and roided up and like a silverback gorilla, I'm going to throw Hifumi and Maruyama 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's the saying of like, was it something technique and something is what judo's based on, but strength doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
You know, strength does not hurt. Like as long as it's manageable strength that you can use and stuff, and it's not like you're just one of these again like big swole dudes that can't move their body around. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to move your hips and your body to block throws. But yeah, being stronger was always going to help you. That's why most people always cut weight. You know, we always try to go.
Yeah.
We weigh one thing, we always try to go to a lower weight class so that we keep our muscle, but we can fight lighter people technically. But everyone does it, so it's kind of BS.
I mean, just look at all Japan. Like you have these 60-kilo Olympic medalists getting destroyed by some no-name plus 100 kilo.
Yeah.
Not no name, but they're still really good, obviously, right?
Yeah. Third string guys.
Yeah. So clearly there's a line, but where do you draw the line? And I don't know. So,
And it's the one thing, like a jiu-jitsu guy told me this one time, because I guess it was a match where it was like an open weight match, and everybody thought this lighter weight guy was going to beat the heavyweight guy. And he's like, if you have two guys that are both black belts, both know how to fight, of course the heavier guy's going to win usually. Like not 90% of the time, but most of the time, the guy's bigger and stronger will win. And it's like, it does make sense. Even though we do the whole thing about judo is that size doesn't matter, technique trumps strength, but it ain't going to hurt, all right?
this is another factor because that's a theoretical thing, right? That we're talking about, a theoretical experiment. But like in reality, when I teach the beginners class, I'm like, some of you guys here will probably beat me within a couple of years because one, I'm not that good in the first place, is what I said, and two, I'm not going to fuck around to find out whether I can beat you or not because once you get to a certain strength and degree, I can't overpower you with my skill to keep myself safe. I have to start doing like taking risks to either hurt you or risk my own safety to throw you. So I'm not willing to do that. I know plenty of other people would be willing to do that, or they're much better than I am, so they don't have to dive down into that hole. But for me, I'm like, if I try really hard, I can throw that guy, but I also might break a leg in the first
in the process.
in the process,
yes.
or at least increase the risk of that happening, which I'm not willing to do. So that's also an important aspect that people don't mention. But
Yeah. So strength doesn't hurt.
strength doesn't hurt. Yeah. Okay. So how about Beatrice Souza? I think that kind of indirectly answers it, right? She's big and heavy. That doesn't mean I think I can beat her. Like, honestly, a lot of the heavier weight stuff is like all makikomis, I think.
A lot of you might like that one.
Especially the woman,
we have that Korean girl, remember? The Korean girl, like her knee got destroyed because that girl came with that deep makikomi, rolled over her. I'm just watching like, and so many heavyweights. This is the thing. Heavyweights do so many makikomi throws like that, where they're just blocking the leg and just use their weight to throw.
Nonstop Newaza.
I'm gonna get destroyed.
Nonstop Newaza has that video of like brutal like judo injuries.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just start noticing, why is it all heavyweight women judo?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I were to fight her, I would just go with the fall. You know?
Yeah. If she steps over my leg, I'm like, I want to walk home.
Yeah. So the short answer is no. We're not going to beat any of them.
No.
Maybe
I'd give her a good fight. Maybe
if we were like 20 years younger and roided up and everything, maybe 1 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
right?
1 out of 10 times.
But I don't think so. Okay. What do you think of Josh Beam's BJJ recent judo videos? Have you watched it? I've watched all of them.
I haven't watched any of them.
So he's a BJJ purple belt who's been dabbling in judo. Dabbling, not dabbing.
Dabbing in judo.
Who's been dabbling in judo, and he's been getting a lot of comments about how he's a fake purple belt. I don't read the comments, to be fair, to be honest.
We barely read our own comments.
I read all of them. Because he's getting beat up by judokas. So it goes back to what I said about people being delusional.
Yeah.
That it just carries over, right? Do people coming from BJJ have any noticeable advantages in Tachiwaza in your guys' experience? What is the average judo belt level of the average BJJ purple, brown, black that walks through your doors? Let's break it down. Okay.
Break it down.
So let's work backwards first, right?
Okay.
What is the average judo belt level of the average BJJ purple, brown, black belt that walks through our door? So that's not just say in general, because I think on average, it's very variable depending on the area, and judo rankings are so subjective based off of like the area, the dojo, and also there's a technical path and there's
the academy's version of this.
And
I've seen BJJ guys be like, "Oh, I'm a black belt this place, but I train here, but I'm only a brown belt here." It's like,
and also BJJ has the same problem because we used to get I'm not going to name names, but certain academies and gyms that produce blue belts that we have to demote because they don't know anything, and just for their safety. It's not like usually they don't demote people if they just suck, but it was more like, you literally don't know anything. We can't have you wear a blue belt because people will just assume you know something and crush you, right?
You're gonna see that belt and be like, okay, he can handle this much.
Yeah, so that happens in BJJ too.
Yeah.
So, but that's not, so we're not talking about that. We're talking about through our anecdotal experience of people
Yes.
walking through our doors. What is the average judo belt level of the average BJJ purple, brown, black belt? We have a lot of BJJ people walking through, and honestly, the best jiu-jitsu guy that's walked through our door is Jose.
Well, no, we did recently have a BJJ black belt come and get hurt.
Yeah, but he's not that good at judo.
I'm saying, no, but I'm saying that's like one of those variant things. But Jose,
I'm saying Jose is the best one.
Okay.
Jose is a purple belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jose is a purple belt, and I think his judo stand-up is better than the BJJ black belt that comes through.
But I'll say because he's been doing judo for a long time. He's been doing judo for.
Yeah, but even when he first came in, I think if you compare Jose when he first came in, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about when he first came in compared to the jiu-jitsu black belt that first came in. Because we have probably 3 or 4 jiu-jitsu black belts that have come through recently. Yeah, they're all, I would say they're all like orange belt level at best. Let's just say.
Anthony said, to me, it's one of those things that just varies because even though BJJ does not focus a lot on tachiwaza, some dojos do more than others. Majority of them are all going to be newazas, okay? Like most BJJs, all newaza.
Yeah.
So you can get some of them that do focus more on some more tachiwaza, where it's like, because one of the guys that came in was like, oh, well, we do a lot of wrestling stuff. It's like, okay, well, let's play. I'll let you want to do leg grabs, let's go. And I'm not going to say like I destroyed him, but he did not give me a hard time. So it's just, it varies on the person. So yeah, it's this weird thing where, it's like
I think it's
a BJJ black belt, a judo brown belt, and a judo black belt is a BJJ
It's
blue
also
belt.
because there's different games, right? We mentioned this in a past podcast episode. I'm not shitting on the black belts that walk through, but I'm pretty sure the ones that came through have like a bottom heavy game. So that's why the top heavy judo rules, they were just like lost, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't transfer over. Versus I think Jose, because I talked with him, he's like, yeah, I hate being the bottom. I always want to like be on top. That's why he came in as a purple belt so strong, because it depends on your game. So I also think it's important to define what our, because since I deal with the beginners, I promote most of the orange belts. I don't care if you throw people, because a lot of the jiu-jitsu black belts that come in and compete just jump straight in competition. They're not really doing good judo. They're just waiting for a counter.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you won a novice competition just countering someone who did a bad turn throw. So does that make you good at judo? Like, no. So the orange belt level is also like safety, whether you can throw someone at will kind of thing versus just waiting for a counter, how you create opportunities for throws, how your Nawaza game is all that stuff combined. But which is why I think Jose, like, it goes to show like the average level of the person that comes in, I would say is just an orange belt. And then if they're not a brown or black belt, then probably even white belts. I think like anyone that's like a blue or purple that comes in is like a white belt in judo level, based off of our anecdotal experience.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of people through the doors.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you guys know, like we have a lot of like I've been doing so much loner gi laundry because we have a lot of people coming through the door. But Jose was the one exception where he was a purple belt that came in with probably like brown belt level skill levels, almost like a Sankyu brown belt. I gotta clarify that because our belt system is a little different than, we can't just say brown belt because our Sankyu is like a green belt, right? So kind of our belts, yeah. So yeah, I would say the average belt level of the BJJ purple, brown, black, I would say the brown and blacks are orange, and then everything below that is white.
Pretty much white.
Yeah, with the couple exceptions.
Yes. All right.
Okay, and then the other part is, do people coming from BJJ have any noticeable advantages in Tachiwaza in your guys' experience?
No.
No.
That's an easy question.
That's just no.
Because it's just like I said, some dojos focus a lot on some good tachiwaza, some basic throws and stuff. And this is it's gonna be like, oh, Juan's just shitting on BJJ like he always does. No, some places just teach very dangerous throws because they don't know how to do them properly. and we'll get some BJJ guys coming in here to like try to do something like, dude, stop. You're gonna break his knee.
So
but that's how I learned how to do it. You're gonna break his knee doing it that way. You need to stop right now.
I think that we talked about this before too, right? Just a reminder. But the difference is in jiu-jitsu, there's no ippon, right?
Yeah.
So there's also, you don't want to throw someone on their back because you want to get to their back. So what we see usually happen, especially since within the dojo training, there's no like ippon, like no one's calling that.
Yeah.
So in most of these guys' heads that I notice, I'm just gonna get you to the ground.
Yeah.
I win if I get you to the ground.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if I did a really shitty throw to drag you down and you landed on chest first. Like in their mind, it's like I won that exchange.
Yeah.
So we see that a lot, and
or we'll see a lot of them be like, oh, like I said before, like, oh, well, we do a lot of wrestling-based takedown stuff. So, okay, well, go ahead. I'll let you take any leg grabs you want. And I'm like kind of accepting because I grew up wrestling. So I know how to defend wrestling really well with my judo, which a lot of people get surprised. Like, but I wrestled. I do this, I do that. Yeah, but I know how to judo defend it.
Usually I sprawl, and then they jump on my back, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we're doing stand-up. Like, so...
I'm just Uchimata all day.
I'm like, okay, then now I'm going to turtle. Well, everyone's doing stand-up. Now we're going to do newaza. So it's like, it's not the same. So when we say it doesn't translate over to tachiwaza, it's just because the goal is different, right? In their heads, they're just, I need to get you to the ground. But in judo, you have to get me to the ground in a particular way that
to win.
Yeah. So in that context, there's no transfer at all, almost. Zero transfer. Yeah. So... okay. So that was that. What do you think of Josh Beam's BJJ recent judo video? So you didn't.
I didn't watch him.
You didn't watch him.
What's your idea?
I like them. It's actually really refreshing to see this because usually, when I watch a lot of BJJ videos with judo in it. I don't watch BJJ videos in general. So even Josh Beam, I've only watched his judo videos. I've not watched any. If it doesn't have judo in it, I don't watch it, basically.
Okay.
But it's refreshing because he's one of the few people that I'm not even going to say shit on it because there are channels out there that don't shit on judo, but they spread myths, like incorrect information about judo, like BJJ mental models, Stephen Kesting. Those I mentioned it, and I got PMs like, "What's wrong with Stephen Kesting and BJJ mental models?" I'm like, nothing's wrong with them. I'm just saying they're saying stuff about judo that's not true.
Yeah.
And it's not my opinion. It's like demonstrably not true.
Yeah. It's like the whole thing of like, it's a while ago now. I always bring this up because he's just so famous. The Joe Rogan being like, well, judo never had all this ground stuff. You know, that's all BJJ. They never had triangles or chokes like this. Like, actually, no, they've been around for thousands of years.
Yeah. So it's refreshing because Josh doesn't make any sort of claims like that. One, he doesn't shit on judo, right? And then two, he will say like, I'm not sure about this gripping thing, but if you know about it, then leave a comment below. Because he did make a video where he said like, oh, this grip is illegal, you can get Shido. And someone's in the comments like, no, you don't, that's not true. And he was like, oh, I clarified it with them. They actually meant this. So there's that exchange going on versus instead of just like spreading misconceptions.
Lies.
Yeah.
Spreading lies about judo.
Like I still see, like this morning I was reading on Reddit, like one of the most upvoted comments was like something about they banned leg grabs because wrestlers and stuff ensemble people were dominating judo. It's like, how are we still talking about this? It's like been proven wrong.
It's almost 10 years ago now.
It's been proven wrong and people are still spouting that. And it's like, you can look this up. Just look at the competition records.
Yeah, it's just that thing of like, wrestlers or sambos are guys that just don't know how to do throws. Like they're just trying to get excuse of like, well, this is why my stuff doesn't work anymore. Well, this is, if you need, and I always say this and stuff, and people always hear me say this all the time. If you need a double leg or morotogari or only uranage to win, then your judo sucks. If you need leg grabs to win in judo,
so that's actually what Dave Roman said, and people disagree with him.
Nah, I don't get like me and Dave agreed on this. Like, no, if you need leg grabs to do judo, then your judo sucks. All right, come Hollywood judo anytime, any day. All right, face Anthony.
I agree. I actually agree with you with given context, but I don't want to deep dive into that because we're just answering this question, right? So that's why I like to watch Josh's video, even though I don't agree with a lot of stuff that is shown or described. I won't say what, but I think one is, regardless of that, it's entertaining. Sometimes it's just a difference of opinion, so I can't just say he's wrong because there's a difference of opinion. And Some other times it's just like, I know he doesn't know any better, basically, and I don't expect him to. So, but he's like humble about it, right? So I totally fine. Like I just watch. I don't watch his videos as a source to learn anything about coaching or judo, but I watch it for entertainment because it is entertaining. Like I love the fact that he put like huge respect for him to go compete in judo and go to all these clubs to train judo and be humbling and learn from all these people. Yes. Oh, also I have huge respect for him for quitting his full-time job to do this, to quit that and pursue this passion and put his body on the line. So that I can definitely appreciate. My only other thing I didn't like was he did a lot of eco judo stuff, but I don't know why he doesn't actually ask people who actually know what it is.
Oh, you're on it again. Oh my God.
Yeah, I really don't understand because he could have went to Cal Jones. He could have went to. There's a guy up in Canada that does it. The eco judo stuff is Praxis. So there's people out there. Oh, there's Chris Round. Chris Round does it too. So it's like, why are you going to? I'm trying not to name names, but yeah, why are you going to those people asking them about stuff that they don't know anything about? Or because you can tell they don't know anything about because you ask them about it and the answers they give are like completely incorrect, right? So, namely being like, oh, it's just situational sparring, or oh, we've always been doing this. Like then they don't really fully understand the material. So it'll be nice to see him go to these actual eco judo clubs that are doing eco stuff instead of going to these places that says we've always been doing it and then just that's the answer. So yeah, there was that. But regarding about how people call him the fake purple belt because he's getting beat up by judokas, I don't know if you want to. I think it's pretty clear at this point after
we've said a lot of stuff already.
We said a lot of stuff. It's just
yes, his Newaza may be very, very good, but in judo, Newaza is our secondary thing. Our first thing is to throw somebody. All right, and I don't know how much Tachiwaza his BJJ school did at first, but you know the BJJ doesn't focus on Tachiwaza. Like there's all these videos now, like there's funny videos of guys like both pulling guard at the same time or one pulling guard, the other one pulling guard. It's like, yeah, BJJ is a ground art. It's all Newaza.
Anyway, that's that. So
yeah. So that all the questions then?
That was the question. Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope we answered all your questions. I hope you got something out of it. Hope some of our viewers got something out of it and stuff. And like I said, we're always open to answering questions. Okay. Anthony loves questions. He loves it. Okay.
I love. Actually really like constructive criticisms. Like there's some people that are saying like, well, I think we need to do both half guard and whatever. Like, and I was like, well, that's not actually what I meant. Like we had a constructive criticism. I'm saying like, we need to do both for recreational, but for competition, we really need to narrow it down. So there's stuff like that. And also we had a visitor tell me one of their senseis, I realized they follow me on Instagram. I didn't know that, but one of their senseis doesn't agree 100% with what I'm saying, but they still like our content apparently. So I'm like, why didn't they message me and let's have a chat about it? Like, this is what like coaching in the US needs, right? More people to discuss these kind of things and improve coaching and teaching and dojo retention, dojo management. But everyone's just like quietly keeping the information to themselves instead of making content, or because they're afraid of criticisms, or on the other end of the spectrum, just silently judging everyone that makes content.
I think everyone silently judges everyone no matter what.
Yeah, instead of just like, there is a guy that makes some sense on Facebook. He's like an older guy, but the way he presents it is just like, I'm like, even the way he's a dick. Let's just say it. He's a huge dick.
All right.
So nobody wants to engage with him because he's kind of right, but also kind of wrong. But no one wants to have the
give him the props that he deserves.
No one wants to have a constructive criticism with him.
Okay.
Constructive conversation with him because he's such a dick. So then, yeah, that's the opposite end of the spectrum. But if you're willing to be like, hey, like for example, I uploaded my classes on the Substack. If you're like, hey, like, I didn't like how you did this because I think this is actually happening or this would be dangerous or something, then we can have a talk. But if you're just like, yeah, that doesn't work. It's like, why? Because it's not how the Japanese do it. Like, that's not constructive, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if you're listening, like, don't feel like I would get offended. I mean, my feelings are hurt very easily, but also, like, I'm not like gonna say like be super defensive. So I can actually accept constructive talk if you don't get offended. Because sometimes what happens is people ask me stuff. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Where did you get this information? So I start questioning stuff. And then people get defensive because I start questioning it.
Where's your sources?
Where's your sources?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, that will always freak people out when you ask them where their sources. Like, well, I heard from an old guy in a mountaintop in a mountain ranch.
Like, it goes both ways. It has to go both ways. But yeah, otherwise, it's just there's, like I said, there's people just silently criticizing, which is fine too. But because they kind of take away what they like from our podcast and then discard what they don't like or disagree, which could be because we're wrong, or it could be what we do here doesn't work for their room because the students are different.
Oh, yeah.
Or your mat sizes are different, or you don't have these nice floors, right? So,
me and Anthony don't agree 100% on everything all the time.
Just like someone asked about Makikomi today, we gave two different answers.
I give a very simple answer. This guy got super technical on it. I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't fly over his head. And I think it did.
It did kind of fly over his head.
It did fly over his head.
It did fly over his head. So, yeah, but that's what we need. And that's why I love this place, right? Because we can have that conversation. Okay, so
what's today's main topic, Anthony?
We're going to talk about being more selfish.
Oh, okay, yes.
So
get here, Anthony. This is one podcast now.
Because everyone talks about mutual benefit in judo.
Being a good partner.
Being a good partner and everything, but sometimes people take that too far, and
you let the other person take advantage of you when they're selfish.
they let people take advantage where the other person. Yeah, so we're not telling you to be like that guy, that dick, that
You
guy.
don't have to be that guy in the dojo just throws everybody,
but never takes any falls.
Yeah, never takes any falls. Oh, sorry, I'm hurt. I got.
So we're not talking about being like that, but we're talking about how and why it's important to sometimes stand up for yourself and just be a little bit more selfish. Because a lot of times, I think there's these two types. There's one, people who are just pushed over easily, or they just want to help everyone and they don't allow themselves to actually improve because they're helping everyone all the time. So they're just showing up to be a to be a throwing dummy, and not actually working on their own skill. And then the second thing is people using it as a crutch. Does it make sense? Like they're
totally.
They're like, but I'm supposed to be a good partner, and then they're just like not training or not doing what they're supposed to do because they're
being a good partner.
Doing a mutual benefit, right? So, do you have any thoughts on that?
So, for me, it's kind of a hard thing because I'm a black belt, and as a black belt and being an assistant instructor and stuff, as an instructor, I try to keep an eye on everything. So I try to not let people get taken advantage of. But what happens with that sometimes is that I'd be like, okay, it's an odd number. I'll sit out so other people can train. Even there's somebody who's like, I'll be training for a tournament, and it's very like hard thing to do. Where it's like I need to get my training in. But I also, because I'm an instructor, have to be like, okay, I gotta let them train. And I've had that argument sometimes with people where it's like, where I've said, hey, can you partner with him instead because they need to get this training thing in, and then some people freak out about it and get mad. But it's very hard because you wanna be a nice person, but you have to know when to be selfish to be, I need to get my training in.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be that guy in the dojo that just, like we said, just throws everybody and is very mean and stuff and just tell people like, no. So yeah, it's very hard. It's very, very hard in my opinion because you got to be mutual benefit. And there's one thing that's my pet peeve also though. With the thing about it being a black belt instructor and like being selfish yourself, if you're an instructor or if you're a black belt, you're held to me like at a different level, okay? If you're in a class with a bunch of black belts and everyone's a black belt and stuff, you're training high level people, go ahead, be selfish all you want, okay? But if you're a black belt and you see a citrus color, that's what I call it, color belts and stuff, a citrus color sitting out and not getting their training in, hey, maybe sit out a little bit and let them be in, okay? You can't always just be selfish yourself all the time.
Yeah.
But you had to figure out like when to do that.
Yeah.
So Anthony, when do you figure out when it's time for you to be selfish and not selfish?
I'm still struggling with that myself because I'm a pushover. Like you guys actually, Philippe called me the other day and was like, you gotta be, he's not even talking about judo, he's just talking about in general, you gotta be more selfish. So my personal experience here was, this is when I was a brown belt, not when I was a black belt, but we know the long pause is because I was like, who do I need to not name?
What names can I not say?
But usually, like you said, if you have two selfish people, you just partner them together. That's what you do, right?
That's kind of like, it's one of my biggest, if I have two, like, let's just call them I like the word selfish people. If I have two selfish people that are very selfish and end up hurting people because of their selfishness, I'll try to partner up together and let them just selfish each other out.
Yeah, so that's usually what happens when there's an odd, and I'm just like, okay, I like little Bobby, wherever, Bob there, and I don't want him to quit judo because there are some people that just quit judo, right? From that falls really hard. So to
They don't
save
like being thrown, you
yeah,
know?
to save those lower belts from Mr. Selfish, I would partner with Mr. Selfish. So
Sacrifice yourself.
So I did that for a long time, and that wasn't here. That was in another club too, and I did that for a long time, and I realized like, one, I don't get my own training in after a long period of time, and then two, I end up getting hurt myself a few times. So it's in my mind, it's like less likely because they don't know how to handle it. I know how to handle it. Like there's a guy here that I'm afraid to go with, but I know I won't get hurt if I don't try to throw him and just destroy him in grip fighting. Right? So that's why I do. I don't even try to throw him. I just like deny, because I know he's so bad at grip fighting that I just deny him grips, and then 4 rounds of no throws going in, and everyone goes home safe. So, so I figured out ways around it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, now I wasted 4 minutes not trying to throw, and I'm just working on grip fighting, which could work, right?
Yeah.
But will that work in 2 years time frame? So in a 6 months time frame, sure, I'm getting better at grip fighting. But then if I keep doing that for like 2 years, I just like wasted 2 years, like 4 minutes times like however many rounds, 2 years, like that's a lot of time wasted. So that's where I'm trying to be more selfish now, where I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna tell people not to partner with them. Make your own decisions. If you get hurt, it's your own fault, because I warned you about this guy, you decided to go with him, then that's your fault. So I'm like doing my own training now, which has really, really helped. So I think you have to do what I previously said, where you save other people sometimes if there's no other option and you think it's worth the risk, but you can't make it a habit of doing it all the time. So one really good way around is have like a training plan.
Yeah.
Just say, these are the things I want to work on today. If that day I was like, I do want to work on grip fighting, then I will like partner with that guy and just do grip fighting the whole time.
Okay.
So having goals like that will help really make you look back and be like, that last week, did I actually do stuff that would help me reach my goal? Or did I do this and that and it just like kind of screwed me over? So that's how I learned to be a little bit more selfish.
That's a good thing right there about, like I said, this is us talking from black belt division, like coming from black belts. I'm gonna talk a little bit about some citrus colors also, how they can be more selfish in a more constructive way. But even me as a black belt, like I said, when I want to compete, I try to make a plan, you know? I'm at a certain age now, I'm 43 years old, I only compete twice, maybe 3 times a year. So if I'm gonna compete, I gotta like the month before at least, I kind of like make my own little training camp thing, you know? I gotta be selfish that month before. I gotta be doing all the uchikomis I can, all the throwing lines I can be doing, all the 3-man drills, all the round I can. So sometimes I'm sorry, but you know, I know you should be in here, and as a black belt or as an instructor, I should let you in, but I need this for myself right now. So that's the thing, like I only do it like 2 or 3 times a year though, okay? But the rest of the year, I make sure everybody's equal and stuff. And like today, during one of our open mat things, a guy was trying to do a drop seotoshi, and drop seotoshi was doing.
Just say Otoshi, because you just said
I
drop
know,
saying drop.
Drop saying drop. It's like Los Angeles Angels of Los Angeles, you know? So he was doing a drop, and his partner kept on jumping around him. And this is one of the guys that just like thinks he knows everything and stuff, but he keeps on jumping around. I tell him, hey, could you maybe just stand there, be a good partner, and let him throw you? And he gave me this look of like, well, it's like, I don't care if you want to get thrown or not. You partnered up with him. I saw you do a bunch of throws to him already. It's his turn now. Right? Stop blocking his throws and let him practice. So you got to be like that as an instructor to tell people. And I don't know if that other guy, if he would have said anything, he probably just would have let it keep going. He's like, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight, nothing. But that's when you got to be selfish yourself. You have to know when later, like when you're, and this is now talking about like citrus colors, when to be like, hey, could you maybe just be a good partner for me? Just say that. You don't be like, okay, and stand there. Just say, dude, can you please be a good partner for me and just help me? Stand there, let me throw you, don't dead weight me. Just ask them, be a good partner. Mutual benefit does not mean I have to suck it up for you to get all your practice. No, mutual benefit means that both of us get to practice. And some people just have to say that. And I understand you don't want to rock the boat, create waves and stuff, be like, oh, this guy cried about it. Like, no, just tell them, hey, be a good partner. And I think something like that, just saying that enough,
So for most people, yes, but some people are like, I am being a good partner.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about a certain person now. I'm totally being a good partner right now. Dude, you're not being a good partner right now, helping somebody out.
Yeah, which is why I think it's the goal. It's one of the jobs of the coach and instructor to foster that culture, so it automatically happens. Because a lot of places just have the hands-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
One, to foster the culture, and two, if the culture doesn't work, you got to enforce it somehow.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
With the constraints. So
You got to keep your eyes on everything and tell people, like, just say, like, I'm the instructor.
Yeah.
I'm the assistant instructor, okay? I'm here to make sure people will learn and are safe and getting their money's worth, getting what they want out of it, okay? And if I see someone being a little too selfish, it is up to you to say something.
Yeah, which is why my classes, like the eco stuff I do in my classes, like I want to join in on. I want to play these foot sweep
Ooh,
games
I want to play.
because I want to do that. Like it's actually helpful. And I think some of these people, I sometimes sneak in 1 or 2 games. It's like I played with them once in their first month of judo, and then like 3 months later, I played with them again, and they absolutely destroyed me in the game. I'm just like, what the hell? Like,
God damn, you've been practicing outside, haven't you?
so I want to practice it, but then I realize I have to start noticing. Well, other than the safety aspect, right? I have to start noticing people being selfish or people not being selfish. So sometimes what I do is we're just like, okay, 2 minutes per side. Like you attack for 2 minutes, the other guy attacks for 2 minutes. Or if we're open mat. For example, when I run open mat, I set a timer and I said you can follow it, or you don't have to follow it. You can swap I set the timer to like 3 to 4 minutes, and then like every 3 to 4 minutes you have to swap sides. That way you have like a hard stop, saying, hey, it's my turn now, right? Versus we've seen this happen when we don't have a timer going. This guy's just be like, oh, just give me just 1 more minute. Let me try this one more thing.
Let me try one more time. Let me throw this one more time. And
Yeah.
you look back, it's like, it's been 10 minutes. Have you guys switched yet at all?
Yeah, and I see that happen in beginners class too, because some people will try to teach during that time, or even though I told them not to, or they would just like take up the whole round, and I'm just like, why didn't you guys swap? Like,
Well, with beginners, sometimes like there's sometimes just sheep because they're just like, well, you never said not to stop. It's like, I said to switch after a while.
Yeah, so
But you didn't say switch.
Yeah, so that's some things that you also have to do to make sure people kind of like speak up for themselves, because to make it easier, that's like a nudge, right? So it's like, hey, there's a clock here. It's your turn to swap. So that's a hard swap, which is kind of stops that kind of behavior. And so what are some other ways you can think of like being more selfish? Because I have one more example.
Yeah, one more example.
Yeah.
So my thing is like counting numbers. Okay, I think it's such a basic thing for people, but you agree with your partner. You do 10 throws, I do 10 throws, or we throw on number 5 each one. Okay, we do this many on this side, we do that many on the other side. And that will also keep people from taking up your time, you know? And it may seem like just a little thing. It is a little thing, but you'll be surprised how much that keeps people honest.
Yeah.
It'd be like, okay, Anthony, let's do 10 on 10 on each side. You get your 10 throws, I get my 10 throws, I get my 1 throw, you get your 1 throw, you know? To keep people honest and stuff. But if you just go and say, okay, let's do so much going, some people just keep going for that minute and they'll be like, oh, Sensei Anthony, can you come over here and look at my throw? And then you demonstrate on the person. They want to do another 5 minutes. And another person.
Yeah, it's like, oh, can I fix this? And it's like, dude, you just turn this into a private session where I'm the uke.
Yeah. And it's like, we need to switch or something. So one thing that I like, it's just such a basic thing. And it's one thing about also doing left and right, because you should be ambidextrous in judo. That's one of my big things, always being ambidextrous. It's just like, yeah, let's just do 10 on 10 each side, or let's do 5 and 5 each side, you know? Keeps you real honest. And you don't even have to say it. I know people get a little awkward about, like, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to create nothing. So just say, be a good partner. Let's do 5 and 5, okay? Easy way right there.
Yeah.
And the same thing with your timer thing. Okay, well, we go with the timer. You get 2 minutes, I get 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, for me, the thing that I'm currently struggle with is, I've been working on my Uchimata, a particular kind of Uchimata for a while, but the outside Uchimata is not that bad. But that particular kind of Uchimata is a pretty hard fall to do repetitively.
Yeah.
And I actually did it on Thursday when I visited a different club, and I saw the guy's head right here, and he was just like, ugh, like that.
Oh, no.
And I was like, man, I even held him up, and it was like that hard. So I feel bad, and sometimes I was like, oh, instead of working on Shitamata, maybe I should work on like osotogari or something, like something that's not as hard falling for the guy. So there's only like a couple of people I feel okay with like doing that too, like Scotty, like people my height, like Scotty, Matthew, like, so that really limits the time I can actually do that particular kind of uchimata with the full motion. So,
You feel more comfortable doing that at your home dojo with people you know than going to your
Yeah.
visiting dojo you go to sometimes.
Yeah.
And be like, you don't be like, man, that Anthony guy's such an asshole.
I know.
He just comes and drills us
So-
once a week and leaves.
I was telling someone this because I visit different dojos.
Yeah.
It's happened at 3 different places now. People are like, "Your judo's so kind. Like it's so. It's like you could just throw me because I would like go in and I break their posture so badly that they're already falling, and then I just like stop. I don't finish the throw basically, and.
You just lay them down gently.
Yeah, like for example, I enter osotogari, I go so hard that they get bounced back, and then they're already accepting the fall, ready to like slap. But they're like, okay, I got him, and I just like stop, right? And then they slowly like fall to the ground like that, and then they're like,
They fall like a Korean drama. Oh no.
yeah. So they're like, you can throw me. I'm like, well, I don't. First of all, I'm traveling. I don't want to get hurt, right? Because I did throw people when I was younger. When I did throw people like that when I visited, and they came back harder.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, I'm just traveling.
Mutual benefit.
So I don't want that to escalate. And 2, I'm just like, I don't know you guys well enough. I don't know how good your ukemi is or anything. So I just gonna stick to that. And then same thing when I go jiu-jitsu. I don't trust any of their break falls. And I also don't want to turn my back to these people that might do a Kani Basami on me or
Oh
something.
my God, yeah.
Right? So when people are like, your judo's too kind, I'm like, no, I'm okay. Like,
I'm fine with that.
yeah. So
I'm fine being the kind judo player.
yeah. So with the exception, like if you go travel or train at a training camp or something, that's different. But my point is, I feel like right now I need to be more selfish because if we talked in one of my blog posts, I talked about desirable difficulty, right? Right now, doing that particular kind of Uchimata, I can't get past the grips to do it. And the brown and black belts are too hard for me to do that right now. So I have to practice on the lower belts. But because I'm afraid of throwing the lower belts with this hard throw, I'm not getting the kind of practice I need, right? So I feel like I need to just be more selfish and be like, I think they can take the fall.
You do know, and this is at our home dojo again.
Yeah.
We have 2 crash pads you can throw them on.
No, I'm talking about Rondori.
Rondori?
Rondori,
Pull out
yeah.
the crash pad and just guide him through the crash pad.
I'm past the crash pad phase
All
already.
right.
So
But Rondori, then just do it. It's Rondori.
I can do it statically.
Be as selfish as you want during Rondori.
Because remember, I'm saying I can't get past the grips.
Yeah.
I can do the throw statically. No problem now. I can demonstrate it. But I can't get past the grips and come in and like do everything at the same time. So I have to do it on lower belts. And that's why I did it on Thursday to this other guy. But he didn't die. I think it's just if I do it repeatedly to him, then like whole night long, then
Then he might get a
that
little...
might be a little too selfish then at that point. But I think like making them take 3 or 4 hard falls spread out across like 5 different people, I don't think that's that bad.
Nah, it's not that bad. It's all right.
And again, people listening to this are probably like, "Oh, you guys are like judo. That's judo, like, but recreational judo. Like, we're trying to keep people around the sport and stuff." So
And I guess it goes back to our thing of like, is it a competition judo school? Is it a casual judo school? Casual judo, love that name again. And it's like with us, our dojo, like we're a good balance. Like we have a lot of people that are casual players. We have people that like want to do better, want to compete, want to get high level
and
stuff.
we're trying to make this work for everyone.
Yes.
Right? So and if you're too high, the other guy's competitive too. You want to go hard, throw for throw. That's fine too. There's some.
Both you guys, be selfish as you want.
Yeah, but for me, I'm just not. I know people have work the next day, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not gonna. Because we actually got a comment like that.
What?
He deleted it afterwards, but I got the email.
Oh.
So the email record showed.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a martial art. If you don't want to get hurt, then go play PS5 at home or something. Was what they said, and I'm just like, yeah, but why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't I do this sport safely?
Some people are like that.
As a hobby.
Yeah.
Why do I need to like? Why does it have to be do or die? Like, he probably realized how dumb the comment was. That's why he deleted it. But
now put him on blast. Now, what's their name?
I forgot. I have to look it up. But Anyway, anything else to add? I think that's all I have.
No, I think that's very simple right there. Like, it's okay to be selfish sometimes, but it's also, you have to figure out like when you're too selfish and stuff. And people that are always too selfish don't realize they're too selfish.
Yeah.
So if you're scared, just be like, hey, mutual benefit, let's go, you and me, do the timer thing. Do like, hey, every minute we're going to change. You do 1 minute, I do 1 minute.
Or just don't partner with that person.
You can do that also, but sometimes you got a small dojo, you may have to partner with them. Do the numbers, all right? Let's do 5 throws each. And don't give them carte blanche, just do how many throws they want to do. Give like a hard number. Let's do 20 throws each, 5 throws each. Let's do 100 shigomis. You do 10, I do 10, or whatever you guys are going to do. Set boundaries and rules, so even if you're like scared of it, you can be selfish in these ways that doesn't have to be mean, Just talk to the person and come out of yourself sometimes. I know we have some players some of our judo guys that are here at our own dojo that are a little timid and scared. Talk to your partners. Talk to the instructors, okay? Don't be like, Sensei One, this guy picks on me. Like, I'll help you out still, but like, you can do it on your own. There's ways to get around it.
Or talk to your instructor.
You can always talk to your instructor, all right?
Assuming they're not incompetent as a coach, but...
that Cobra Kai, all right? Someone gets on you in a mat, someone faces you in combat.
We do know some place, I'm not going to name where, but we do have heard stories of a place where they're like, this is judo.
Yeah, there are some people that are like, this is judo, to deal with it, and I feel bad for you if you do live in an area that has a very small judo community, if they have like no judo and stuff, you have only one dojo to train at, and it's like that, I'm sorry, all right? Like, we're very lucky to live here in Los Angeles, Southern California. There's tons of dojos, tons of cool people and stuff.
That's why I moved here. Seriously.
We're not. I know it's why you moved here. Don't let your wife hear this, okay? She still thinks it was for her and her job.
All right.
But okay, so please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow me, Jared_Juan on Tatami Talk. You can follow Anthony Throws on Instagram. You can follow, send us any emails, things you want to look at, new messages, things you want us to talk about at tatamitalk@gmail.com. You can follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk and on Threads. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? Oh, and Anthony's Substack as well.
Yep.
All right. Is that it?
Yep.
All right. So with that, don't forget to
be more selfish and fuck them.